Okay, welcome back to the rotary encoder OLED display project. I'd like to add some input methods into this. Not quite sure what I'm going to use them for, but it would just be nice to have the circuitry there. So I have this little joystick that has two axes. It takes power and then it outputs some analog values for X and Y. So let's wire this up to the bus here. Um, let's see, black is ground. And then positive. Then we need to figure out the analog pins. So we got A0 and A1. They look to be like A0 starts at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one over. So we'll make that one X, which is the white. Let's see here. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then gray appears to be the Y. Okay, it's hooked up. So let's upload some code to, that pissed something off. Reset it and see what happens. Cool. Okay, let's upload some code and see what happens. Okay, so I uploaded the code and tested these two different sensors. So I think it's time to put these on some prototyping board. Okay, this is what we have to work with here. I don't know, this board here is too thin. Once again, it has that same problem as there's not enough holes in this direction. So I think we're going to use this board here. The first step will be to cut this female pin header here. This saw is getting dull. I need to get a new one of these. Okay, I want to orient the non-cut shorter pieces on this side because the OLED display is going to go right up against it like that. Then we have to take into account the I2C lines there. want to add just a little solder. I don't really want a dome, so that I can wrap the wire around it easier. I've had way too much coffee this morning. Curious as to how long this blue tack lasts. I think as it gets older it gets stickier. I didn't see that before. Basically these pin headers are in the way. You know what, because of the adapter board that we made earlier, I think I'm going to solder up another Arduino Pro Mini with the pin headers on the bottom. I don't know. Let's continue arranging things and see how it looks. So we have a choice of how to solder this. It can be soldered up close like that, or it could be soldered further apart like that, depending on the length that we need. Because basically we have to have the OLED display elevated on top of the Arduino. It's basically a question of how much it needs to be elevated and what range we have to work with. Oh yeah, like that, it elevates it quite a bit. I think what we need to do is connect it down like this, so that needs to be glued on there, and then use connection wire. So before going further, I'm going to clean this up a little bit more. I really like these knives. You can get them at Home Depot. Okay, I have another idea how to attach this. Push these pins down. Basically just push the plastic piece that way. Then I can fold these over and solder them to the adjacent pins. Yeah, that'll work good. These small machinist clamps are nice for stuff like this. They're very good at clamping things parallel and tight. But the adjusting of the two screws is a little bit annoying compared to the normal clamp. But basically I adjust the closest one first. And that solder tin stuff smells bad. Oh, that's a problem. Heat the pin up, it melts the plastic. So I'll heat up the bent pins more. Get it to wick onto that, and then hopefully it'll wick onto straight pins. Yeah, it just burns the plastic. Yeah. Okay. Put the solder on the tip of the soldering iron and then get it to blob over onto it, hopefully. I have a hunch this is going to be a failure. Okay, I have another idea on how to do this. We'll try soldering it and then bending it over. And then I'm using this one as a reference, so it's yeah, it should go down a little bit more. and push the plastic piece up. That's too high. Want to make this as compact as possible. If anyone knows of a tool to trim these headers to a specific length, please let me know. There must be some fancy tool that can, I'm not sure, grab them a certain way and then slice right through them. I'm still a kid playing with Play-Doh. I wish these female pen headers, the quality and durability and robustness was a little bit more. Yeah. Probably left little burrs on the end there. Okay, my hunch is that's as close as we're going to be able to get it. It's a little crooked too. Hmm. Okay. Not quite in there straight. Cool. Now for this guy. If I were to put a knob in there, it might interfere. Found with these solder sucker things, it's good to put grease inside there. And the tip, I made a new tip out of Teflon on the lathe. I'm pretty sure you can buy the tips, but it's taken me a while to figure out how to use this thing successfully. And then of course there's a trick where adding solder, if it's not quite working correctly, allows it to have more of a seal when it goes to suck it up. Looks like there aren't solder pads on that side. Hopefully it'll wick enough solder up in there if I just heat the pins. Doesn't look like it. Damn. Okay. Nice. A little too much solder on these, it's doming. It feels good. So even if there's a small knob on here, that shouldn't interfere too much with it. Yeah, this one's going to be difficult. I can tell that already. snug fit because not all the solder was removed from the holes, which is nice. I won't have to use the blue tack or a breadboard to get it lined up. Like that, like that. Awesome. See, ideally I should make some supports for this. Get it in there more solid.